Hi everybody in Brazil. Please go and watch my new film. I think you'll really, 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 really like it. Reach out, touch faith.
First of all, congrats on the movie. I watched it this morning and it's great. Really one of my favorites of the year. How was your training for this movie? Did you practice martial arts?
It was intense. I had 2.5 months and I try to utilize every single second out of every day for this because I knew how important it was going to be to this character being believable in this movie. And I trained with an incredible crew of stunt people who focused on different martial arts, different strength training, different kind of fighting styles. And I worked many hours a day, sometimes 4 to 5 hours a day on it.
One of the most incredible parts of the movie is definitely the single take action scene you guys do in Berlin. How was the execution of that? Were you doing your own stunts?
It's an incredible scene in the film and people really love it, and it's most people's favorite moment of the movie. We shot it over 3 days and we did not know if we were going to be able to pull it off, and by the end when we worked with the editor and saw it, we were really...
You definitely pulled it off.
Thank you. It was a proud moment for us.
Was that the hardest part of the shooting?
Well, I mean, I think just the consistency of that kind of physical level was the hardest part of the film. It was the fact that we shot for 51 days on a very small budget, and every single day I showed up and had to do that kind of action.
I love how the movie has this amazing soundtrack, all these great songs. Do you have a particular favorite?
I am a big Depeche Mode girl. So I might have put my foot down a little too hard in wanting a Depeche Mode song in this movie.
Between this and Fate of the Furious and Mad Max, you're a great household name for action movies nowadays. Why does this genre of movie attract you so much?
I don't know if it's the genre. I think it's more just the quest to want to tell good stories in a physical manner that I think women don't necessarily always get allowed. I think that there's a great potential to tell these kind of action-driven stories with women that lends itself to so much more potential than sometimes with guys.
So this movie was directed by David Leitch, who's a great action director. How does he compare to maybe other action filmmakers you've worked with?
I mean, I think he's an incredible director, and I think he brought something to this movie that really changed it up and makes it feel somewhat original and energetic and provocative.
Because he also directed John Wick, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comparisons with this movie and that. But they're fairly different movies. Your character is very different from John Wick. But personally, for you, what's the biggest difference between a character like this and a character like Wick?
Well, he's a man, and I'm a woman. I really loved those movies. Let me just start with that. I think Keanu Reeves is unbelievable in those films. And I think the difference for me would be that I feel like a lot of his actions are really motivated by this incredible loss that he kind of suffers in the first part of the film, in the first one. And I think in this film, my character isn't motivated by any of those things. She's an MI6 agent. It starts off pretty simple, and she gets asked to go to Berlin to bring back the body of a colleague, and she gets caught up in this looking for this list. And so the whole thing kind of spirals out of control from there, but she's not really motivated by revenge or anything like that.
Nowadays, it's common to see characters, especially in this kind of movie, they are like maybe too perfect. They're always this, they don't fail the mission ever, they're always great. But your character goes through a lot of trial and error, and she fights a lot in this movie to accomplish what she needs to do. Why do you think it's important to show this kind of vulnerability in the characters?
I don't know if it's important. I just like truth. I mean, I think the reason why I love being an actor is because I love observing people and what people do. And if I can translate that somehow onto film, that to me feels like that's what my job is. And so I'm not very good at doing things that don't have some kind of a cornerstone and reality and truth, and where you can kind of like hang the story or the character on some kind of a weight of a truth. And so I don't know, for me, I work better when I'm in those conditions.
Toughest question, I think. Deathmatch between Lorraine from Atomic Blonde and Furiosa from Mad Max.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that fight. I think we should just do it. Let's have it. Let's see what happens.
You have a bet who would win?
I don't. I mean, I feel like there's such different fighters, but they both like to fight to the death, and so that would make it interesting. I think both characters will fight to the death.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God, I think I love you.
That's too bad.